Hi everyone, I just want to answer some of the questions that you all sent me via email and commented on, and there sort of was a general theme of what people wanted to know, and that was sort of about family and friend support and how they can reach out and help you. So I'm just going to firstly answer this. Um, it's very difficult for family people for us to talk about our eating disorders, and it wasn't really the fact that I told them because they already knew, but the fact that they sort of told me. Because I was 8 years old, obviously I was more unaware. We can sometimes be completely in denial about our illnesses, and it'll be someone that comes to us rather than to them. It's only since I've sort of grown up and been maybe sort of a while that and I'm away from my parents, that I've had to tell them when things are bad and when things are good, and that I have to be open about it. So it is quite difficult talking about our eating disorders because it's such a personal and private thing. It's full of lies. It's something that's very secretive, what we do behind people's backs, and that people are not really always aware of how bad things are unless you tell them. And I think it's extremely important that you're honest to your family and friends, and you're honest to yourself. It's a very challenging time to be able to talk to your family and friends about this, but the fact is you have to sit down and you have to tell them, otherwise they can't help you. They will be aware of things, but I think people sort of step on eggshells when they know that someone's got an eating disorder because they don't know what to do. For my family, I think the thing that they kept in mind is that they are an outsider. They sort of realised as I got over the age of 18, they can't force me to treat me or force me to do anything anymore. That they are not my therapist, that they can't force me to do anything. And the difficult thing is family aren't there all the time to help us. They can't force us to do anything. They can't be there when we're binging and stop us. They can't be there when we are not eating. They can't be with us every single meal of the day and control and guide every movement that we do. So the important thing I think they realise is that they have to be good listeners. And it's difficult because, well, with most illnesses, people can sort of be empathic and sympathise with you. With an eating disorder, they can't. They don't know what you're going through. They don't know how you feel. And so they just had to listen. And it was really important to me that I had someone at the end of the phone which would listen to me talk about anything, and how ridiculous and sublime it is, and I won't be embarrassed because they're my family, and that they'll be there even if I tell them the most horrific things that I've done. They will always be there. And they listen to my thoughts and opinions about everything. And even though they sometimes didn't have an answer or didn't have anything to say back or any advice to give, that meant everything to me, and it really did help in taking away off my mind and being able to express things because it made it clearer in my mind as well. And also, they realised they had to be really encouraging throughout my illness. They had to encourage me to always strive for recovery, even though it's been going on for so long. They've never failed to stop being encouraging. I think as time goes on and when you've been eating for a long time, people can sort of see it as the norm and as who you are. And it's important that they don't give up the effort on trying to encourage you. There have been times when I've sort of obviously explained that I'm going to recover, and there's countless times I've done this, and many times I've not done it. I don't fill out my promises in recovery, and it can be very stressful for them. So another thing that I've always stressed, because my mum's a very weight conscious person, and she's very transfixed with her weight, and going to the gym and being a certain BMI and things like that. And she used to always talk to me about food and weight and things like that. And that is the most important thing. Your family, you have to tell them not to talk to you about food and weight. It's extremely threatening to our health, and we can take it completely the wrong way. If someone says, "Oh, you look really healthy, you look really well," that suddenly gets transformed in our minds to you're fat. So it's extremely difficult for family members not to trigger you and outside people not to trigger you in that way. And you have to tell them not to say these things. You have to tell them not to talk about food and things like that. Have People have to realise that it's not the food, it's the emotions. There's an emotionally based illness underneath the food. The food is just a cover up. Food is just a mirage of the illness and problems that we're struggling with. So I think for family to support you, you have to tell them these things because a lot of the time they're not aware. So for my family, I think as well, it was important that they had therapy alongside me. and that they looked into resources about eating disorders so they could have a comprehensive understanding, well, if that's possible, of what we're struggling with and how to help us. There's also been a lot of questions about inpatient treatment, and what it was like, and what sort of BMI and health state that you have to be in to go into inpatient treatment. Inpatient treatment is a difficult one. It's different everywhere that you go. To get into inpatient treatment, a lot of the time, and the most awful thing about the NHS is that you have to be a really low BMI. That's usually a BMI below 15, and for you to get in straight away, it'd have to be below 13.5, which is disgusting that they do that. I think it sickens me. But they do take in other factors in most places, and that means your overall health, the length you've had the illness, how much it's taken over your life, and making you unable to perform every daily activity. So if you're feeling dizzy, got a low potassium count, or if you're fainting a lot, depending on your blood count, your ECG, your bone scan, all things like that sort of come into play. And more often than not, if you ask for help, if you want help, they will give it to you. But you have to be persistent. This is only my experience with inpatient providers. I've been offered inpatient treatment 3 times, and first time I'm not going to say BMI, but I wasn't the usual BMI to get in. I was higher, and because of my length of the illness and how much it was consuming me, that they offered me it, but I declined. And the second time I actually went in, I did fit the category of being low enough weight to go into hospital, but it was sort of premeditated. It was premeditated before I even got to that weight, because we both had a conversation. It's quite an in-depth thing. There's no justifiable criteria exactly to get you into inpatient treatment, and the ones which do that, I think, are extremely wrong. So they do take in other things. It's not just about BMI most of the time. And inpatient treatment is an experience that I can't explain, to be honest, and I'm going to do a video separate to answer this question because I think it's quite a big topic, so watch out for that one. I will answer your question in the next video. I've also had questions about just my life. Someone asked me what sort of I do job and what I study. It's my favourite thing to do when I'm to relax when I'm feeling stressed or anxious. I'm currently doing a PhD on human resource management. I'm still unsure about my topic, but it's something to do with mental illnesses, employees with mental illnesses in the workplace, and how they're only silent, and we can make them talk about their problems. Sort of having a mental illness myself, I feel like if I was in a workplace and I had to take time out of work, how they would react to that and how they would support me, I think is extremely important to my recovery, and whether they keep that job for me and things like that. So I think it's a very interesting avenue to explore, and I really want to have something to provide and improve society mental health awareness at the end of my PhD, even though it's business-based. I don't actually have a job. This is sort of my job. I get paid by the UD to do it, so quite lucky. My favourite thing to do with that is read, I would say. Yeah, I'd probably say read. I really like to read a lot. I love any books that's imaginative and sort of takes me to a place out of this world and that I could never be able to imagine. I'm listing off at adventures with seas, with fairies and pixies and all stuff like that. I'm really lame. Or I just like going out with my friends, just a very simple thing. Just now that I can enjoy meals, I actually do find it really relaxing cooking and being with people and being able to share food and just chill out, have a drink, and I find that as a really lovely way to relax, just with other people really, which is different from me being a completely individual, isolated person when I had my ED in full swing. So yeah, just keep asking questions if you've got anything, and I will answer that question on inpatient treatment in the next video. It's quite a lengthy one. Anyway, yeah, I really hope you're doing well, and I really am sending you love always, and praying for you all. Okay, love you all. Bye.